जी हेलो दोस्तों, मैं हूं कमर चीमा। और दोस्तों, आई एम ऑनर्ड टू हैव टुडे विद मी डॉक्टर कमर अल खुदा, who is a professor of international relations. He has a long biography. He has written so many books and he's so much published, a lot of work. He has worked in with the U.S. government, and but he's a scholar, professor, analyst, taught at Georgetown University. There is a long list which I can explain. Still today, he's a Michael E. Paul Distinguished Visiting Professor. Thank you very much, first of all, Professor Kamal Khuda, for your time.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. So, Dr. Saab, you wrote an excellent article in the National Interest that can Pakistan mediate the Iran war. So, just for our viewers who are based
Mm,
in diaspora in the United States and other
जी.
parts of the world, कैसे देखते हैं आप कैन पाकिस्तान मीडिएट द वॉर? और फिर बाद में हम बात करते हैं ओवरऑल ये जो ईरान पे चल
Mm,
रहा है, इंडिया
mm.
का क्या है, अमेरिका के अंदर क्या ओपिनियन है? सो व्हाट डू यू मेक ऑफ दैट, सर?
Gee, thank you. First, thank you for having me, Assalamu alaikum. And this is such a fascinating, also delicate time for all of us, whether it be East or West. But my argument for this mediation paper was that Pakistan is at the center of so many eyes, meaning for security eyes, geopolitical eyes, from the Gulf states to all the way from Israel to DC, London, all the capitals are looking at Islamabad and seeing Pakistan's diplomatic capacity and questioning whether it's will deliver or not. And most of the cynics are saying that the cynics will be cynics, so the answers will be, of course not. They are waiting for Pakistan to fall and to fail, and this is not new within either DC circles or other security circles. Again, then those who are just one, there's also, I must inject this. There are many, many policy analysts, security studies analysts who said, where did Pakistan come from? How did it become so important at this moment? And they themselves are still asking almost 2 weeks into this process of where Pakistan, and they've yet to understand how Pakistan made this major diplomatic, victory in the past year with President Trump. They fail to understand that. They fail to understand how Pakistan has made some overlapping, overarching common goals with DC. And also, when President Trump says, Brigadier General Soleimani is my favorite general, in Gaza, people are still just not able to digest the level of trust that has been developed and mutual recognition of this new relationship, diplomatic as well as other types of relationship. So this for those who are Pakistan observers and watchers of South Asia, this should not be a surprise. But there are many people injecting this like doubt. So one, for those who are not aware of Pakistan's ability to perform in this area and just not aware of the sort of long history where Pakistan has been involved with U.S. during the Cold War, during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and then was about the civil war in Afghanistan, 9/11, about the global war of terror. I mean, just basic history. You'll see Pakistan has really placed itself historically with American geopolitical interest, and aligned its interests and values and made itself quite a partner. So this is not something new. But the question here, because this equation is much different, Dr. Cheema, because here we have, I think, a reshaping of Middle East uh, politics and geopolitics. This is what's happening as we speak. At the same time, we have sort of a closing of the chapter of the liberal order, world order, rules-based order. Simultaneously, में दोनों तीन चीज हो रहा है. And so this is the issue. How is Pakistan using the old liberal order of negotiations, mediations, intense diplomacy, huh? And then at the same time, it's injected at a time when this war is questionable by many all around all capitals, right? Why this now? Why? What was it an imminent threat? Was Iran an imminent threat, or was it some other grander issue? So these many complicated issues is Pakistan has become and is looked towards not just by just DC and UK. Look at your Gulf neighbors. They are they are putting a lot of weight on Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and looking towards Pakistan to really deliver. As you know, many of the foreign ministers came to Islamabad and hosted this meeting. And Turkey, you could have said, where's Turkey? Turkey is not in the driving seat. So if you look at the driving seat, Pakistan's the driver's seat. And all these other sort of allies from Qatar, Egypt, Turkey, KSA, Saudi Arabia, they are saying, look, they have lost a lot of legitimacy with Iran. So Pakistan has found not only legitimacy with the West and legitimacy with Iran and legitimacy with the Gulf states. And this has legitimacy in terms of diplomatic mediation and many other levels. So this is why the article I presented is that there are internal issues in Pakistan, there are external issues, but Pakistan has situated itself as extremely significantly an important actor to be one of the biggest conveners at this moment.
बिल्कुल. So you're right that liberal order भी close हो रहा है. बहुत सारी चीजें जो हैं वो दुनिया के सामने आ रही हैं. हमारे बारे में आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा कि पाकिस्तान जो है वो हमेशा उसने अपनी पॉलिसी को अलाइन किया है अमेरिका के इंटरेस्ट के साथ. लेकिन ये बड़ा मुश्किल वक्त है कि दोनों मुल्क जो हैं आपस में लड़ रहे हैं, ईरान और अमेरिका, लेकिन दोनों के साथ पॉलिसी को अलाइन कर ली है. ये basically obviously that's such a mystery that nobody can understand that how is this happening. And I think here the credit goes to both to the United States and to Iran that they understand our positions and they give us space. At the same time we align with them, but they also give us space when we need a space. Normally हम इस चीज को मेरा ख्याल है यहाँ पे कर देते हैं. Professor, you have served and in the system and you know this. हमारे बारे में आपने कहा कि लोगों को समझ नहीं आ रही कि ये पाकिस्तान बीच में से कहां से आ गया एकदम, और दुनिया के साथ इसकी ये क्या अलाइनमेंट हो गई कि भाई पैसे भी कोई नहीं है, कर्जे भी लिए हुए हैं दुनिया के हर मुल्क से, लेकिन पाकिस्तान. सो डू यू थिंक दिस इज ट्रम्प आसम मुनीर रिलेशन? ये ट्रम्प आसम मुनीर का रिलेशनशिप है जिसको आप समझते हैं, या आपकी नजर में ऐसी क्या चीज है? व्हाट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो अमेरिका और पाकिस्तान को जिसने करीब किया हुआ है? और अमेरिकन जो हैं वो एमैनुअल मैक्रोन को भी बुरा भला कहते हैं, मोदी को भी बुरा भला कहते हैं, लेकिन वो आसम मुनीर के बारे में कोई बात नहीं करते. और वो शहबाज शरीफ को कुछ नहीं कहते, वो सबको गालियां दे देते, सुबह शाम गालियां देता है, वो किसी को नहीं छोड़ते, लेकिन वो इनको कुछ नहीं कहते. इंपॉर्टेंट चीज क्या है विच हैज बेसिकली जिसने ग्लू कर दिया है, जोड़ दिया है?
I want to say something. Most people don't give enough credit to Pakistani's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Really, हम सिर्फ individuals को देखते हैं, या जनरल साहब को देखते हैं, या शहबाज शरीफ को देखते हैं, in the previous Benazir Bhutto, Zardari, लेकिन we don't spend enough attention to Pakistani institutions, which ones are strong and historically how they make an impact. I can tell you from US, DC, UK, Western side, aapki cream of the cream work in MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And this historic compounding in contributions jo kar rahe hain aapki foreign ministers and diplomats, which is not character based. These are most qualified. I can tell you, UN mein jo aate hain aapke diplomats, jo DC mein aate hain, UK, Paris, China, these are the smartest people. The smartest people, not just Pakistan mein, but in the world of global diplomacy. So I want to give credit to aapka Pakistan diplomacy. Because if without them, unki support, then you wouldn't have the Sharif and General Saabki relationships. You need these ground relationships. And you have to give credit to your aapke embassy staffs. And so I think that's number one, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And then unki messaging, if you look at the messaging of Pakistan, it's coherent. It's consistent. We have our autonomy, but we also have interests with US, China, and there's no contradictions there. And it's compatible. And historically, we are compatible. And we're not a country of radicals. We're not a country we can get along with theocracies that are next door neighbors. We can manage Pakistan, the Taliban over there. We can manage the tensions on the eastern border. We can manage all these different things. Could be on the global stage. Your diplomats are one of the finest. So that's why I wanted to really give credit to.
Hmm. So the diplomats, you believe, they have managed so many things, you know.
Because they lay the
That's-
foundation of relationships.
Hmm.
They lay the foundations, and these foundations of discussions and bar reinforcing messaging and building on things and not being क्या कहते हैं, overly obsessive of negative issues of the past. Huh?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this is आपके diplomats and institutions are able to see क्या present क्या है, practical issues क्या है, and what is the future of our relationship. If they've been able to do this. Whereas
Hmm.
other countries, I think in DC, sometimes they're always obsessing on the past. We did this, you didn't do this. We need to do this. And this kind of irritates every administration, American administration.
Hmm. Okay. So, Prasad, how do you see कि जो पाकिस्तान की अरब दुनिया के साथ आपने अरब दुनिया में भी यू हैव सर्व्ड यू हैव वर्क देयर, ये जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो रही है इसको कैसे देखते हैं? जैसे कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर इस वक्त बहुत गुस्सा है यूएई के हवाले से है कि जी
Mm,
इन्होंने पैसे मांग लिए हैं हमसे, क्यों पैसे मांगे हैं वो पाकिस्तान ने, क्योंकि बार बार वो फॉरेन ऑफिस जो जो सऊदी अरब में एक इजलास हुआ, पाकिस्तान वाज टेकिंग अ साइड विद ईरान के ऊपर जो एग्रेशन हुआ उसको कंडेम करो। अरब दुनिया कह रही थी नहीं उसको कंडेम करने की जरूरत नहीं है, पाकिस्तान ने कहा नहीं कंडेम करना है, तो वो पाकिस्तान के फोर्स करने पे कंडेम किया गया जो
mm,
अमेरिका और इसराइल का एग्रेशन था।
mm.
कैसे देखते हैं? जीसीसी के अंदर बहुत टूट हो गई है, जीसीसी में यूएई इज अलाइनिंग विद द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, इसराइल, अरब दुनिया जो है वो आपस में टूट गई है, हमारे
Mm.
लिए कितना ये चैलेंजिंग है? एंड व्हाट डू यू सी कि जीसीसी की क्या शक्ल देख रहे हैं फ्यूचर में? डू यू थिंक इजराइलीज विल हैव मोर पेनिट्रेशन देयर, और डू यू थिंक कि नहीं समहाउ ये आपस में मिल जुल जाएंगे?
So GCC की fragmentation है ना, with UAE and Qatar and KSA, Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. This is a result, I think, of the Abraham Accords उससे पहले. The penetration to हो चुका maybe even before the Accords. Anyone जो would visit Dubai, Abu Dhabi, even 2011 में, 2012, it was not be a big surprise that in lobby में you would hear Hebrew, Israeli visitors or tourists. Yeah, 14 साल के बात है. Now when they formalized it, there's so much joint intelligence, security gathering and sharing Bahrain and UAE के साथ. It's beyond most countries can think about. So in fact, the fragmentation जो है, they're in another world, and they will have to live with their own manufacturing of discord. What they're surprised like just जैसा मैं ये example दे, do we condemn the war? अरे Pakistan, like most sovereign countries, have to work and operate on international law and sovereign state law. And on that basis, Pakistan did right. Okay, this is illegal, and no country's sovereignty should be violated. If you don't live with these UN basic charter, what's the point of any of these things? And GCC countries, though, I say, they go with the wind. Nay, nay, you can't do this, you can't do that. We'll put power and pressure on you. But they don't understand, I think, and maybe they do understand. And the truth of the matter is, they also have a history of subjugating Pakistanis and Pakistani politicians and do what we'll just tell Pakistan what to do and they'll do. Huh? And the fact is, Pakistan is a sovereign state and has to make its unki decisions based on unki sovereign issues and national interest there. So and sometimes I think the GCC countries think they'll just pay people off and they will just put pressure on them. And by Pakistan standing on this principle and now becoming the principal mediator, it shows the GCC that they have made their own mistakes. The positions they have taken have pushed them in this corner. the military bases, the defense connections, and the defense contractors that operate there. CENTCOM's ki base jo hai, Central Command ki base is there in GCC countries. So how can they deny that nay, we want to condemn Iran but not condemn any other invasion, this current invasion? तो उनकी अपने contradictions हैं, and they don't understand that outside of their उनकी bubble जो है, that they are viewed as in a very inconsistent ways and unprincipled ways.
अच्छा प्रोफेसर ये बताएं कि व्हाट डू यू मेक ऑफ दिस के अमेरिका के अंदर क्या चल रहा है, व्हाट द अमेरिकन्स आर थिंकिंग वहां पे ऑब्वियसली देयर इज अ व्हाइट हाउस, डिफेंस डिपार्टमेंट, स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट, academia, think tank, media, there's so many actors. What are they thinking about the United States role globally? वो कैसे देखते हैं और उनकी क्या अंडरस्टैंडिंग है इस हवाले से और उनकी क्या सोच है?
बहुत अच्छी सवाल है. Actually, it's a very complicated answer. DC में, just, there's over 50, 65 think tanks just on foreign policy. So foreign policy groups that just support the Trump administration on the conservative side, they are just going with the war. Majority of people in DC are going with the war, but look, if they're especially pro administration, pro Republican. And then there's also the liberal Democrats who are also pro-Israel, who've been waiting for this moment to attack Iran. So ek baat kya hai that we don't understand that in DC and other capitals, एक पूरा industry ban gaya tha since middle 80s to make an anti-Iranian industry. So if you study Iran, like all these think tanks jo hai, they have Iran specialists. But it's mainly to show Iran's weaknesses, security, nuclear program, these 2-3 major things. But in their heart of hearts, they were waiting for Iran to retreat from Lebanon, unki jo Hezbollah groups, to weaken Iran from Syria, weaken its connections in Iraq and with the Yemen, other places, for this moment. And the moment was, for some strategists, that once Iran is retreating and they're at its weakest point, they're waiting for this moment to attack it. To get their proxies, are disjointed. Supply chain of weapons nahi hai, training kam bhi hai, the communications is finished. So they're waiting and preparing for this moment, some of these think tanks. So in many ways, I see liberal Democrats, some progressive, and they're smiling at this, like, oh, let Iran be decimated. I'm sorry to say that they say this openly. Let Iran taste the medicine they've been giving to the rest of the region. So this is sort of the disappointing things, that you think liberal Democrats will be a bit more hesitant to war, but they're also smiling about this issue and happily that Trump is doing this. The problem is when there's no national debate, no policy debate on the war, there's no sort of slowing down and examining key issues, key principles, mission kya, objectives kya, withdrawal kab hai, escalation kab hoga, are you sending Marines, what's the point of sending Marines, this and that, while you're having negotiations. So these are all these major issues that seem contradictions, but the truth of the matter is very little dissent and criticism of the war here in Washington, D.C.
तो जो आप क्या समझते हैं कि जो कांग्रेस है, आपको लग रहा है कि वो बोल नहीं रही इतनी, उसकी कोई से नहीं है इस वक्त सिस्टम के अंदर? इट इज बिकॉज कि वो समझते हैं कि दिस इज एग्जीक्यूटिव्स जॉब, उनको जो वो करना चाहते हैं करें, और क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग ये समझते हैं कि ये जंग हमारी जंग नहीं थी, हमें नहीं लड़नी चाहिए थी। इस पे व्हाट वुड यू मेक ऑफ दैट, ये जो कांग्रेस की जो अप्रोच है? क्योंकि जो कांग्रेस को ब्रीफिंग दी जाती है उस पे तो वो बाहर आके थोड़ा बहुत कहते हैं कि हम इस चीज को सपोर्ट नहीं करते, बड़ी हॉरिफिक पोजीशन है, दिस एंड दैट, बट दे आर नॉट टेकिंग अ पोजीशन कोई ऐसी बड़ी लगता नहीं। तो इट मींस कि प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प हैज अ कंट्रोल ओवर द एंटायर स्ट्रक्चर एट द मोमेंट।
Congress is historically and by constitution they have to fund any war that the executive branch, the president, wants to do, and they also have this Powers Act that you put in the sort of restrictions on how you use war. But they even didn't do that. The key issues that Republicans, whether in House and some in Senate, the midterm elections are in November, May, and they're concerned that this war can influence, will definitely, if it goes south, matlab it goes against the U.S. interests, and we have more deaths in the U.S. U.S. Soldiers, that they will lose their seats. So congressional folks are thinking, worried that if they speak against the war, then and or it goes if they're in favor of the war or something, then they can lose their seats. But every prediction is talking about a landslide against the Republicans. So the landslide, matlab hai कि Democrats are going to come and take the House, and maybe at least 4 seats in the Senate. That means the changing of hands to the Democrats. Then that there will be such a change that Trump won't be able to do all these things that we see right now as we speak. So this is what they're worried about: how much they will lose. They will lose in November drastically. Every analyst is saying how much they will lose is the problem. And then if this happens, then you'll see Democrats go after retaliation, impeachment trials, and this impeachment, that impeachment. And so this is what they're worried about. And so the timing of the war is important. The dissent and talking against the war is also critical to their own reelection cycle. And so this is also a concern for most congressional people up for re-election.
तो प्रोफेसर आखिर में व्हाट वुड यू से पाकिस्तान को क्या करना चाहिए कि टॉक्स कामयाब हों? आपने अपने आर्टिकल में भी एक पूरे का पूरा कहा है कि पाकिस्तान को एक कोलिशन बनाना चाहिए मीडिएटर्स का। एक तो ये कहें बताइएगा, और दूसरा ये बताइएगा इन केस पाकिस्तान कामयाब नहीं होता तो ये पाकिस्तान की नाकामी है, या क्या आप समझते हैं कि जो मीडिएटर्स की जॉब और फैसिलिटेटर्स की जॉब यही होती है? व्हाट डू यू मेक ऑफ दैट?
मैंने 2-3 पॉइंट्स पेश किया था कि देखें, पाकिस्तान could be the head mediator, और साथ साथ you have basically co-mediators जैसे Turkey, China, Egypt. And these co-mediators usually उनके पास legitimacy भी है, उनके पास खास weight भी है, economic, political, military weight भी है, incentives दे सकते हैं. So I think they could use that. The issue is sometimes these co-mediators जो होते हैं, they have their own national interests. So they can inject their own national interest in the mediation. And so the biggest problem is that whether they're mediating with co-allies, Turkey, China, or Egypt, or Qatar, whoever they work with, this architecture jo banate hain, the key issue is how to make Iran to think about, we need to trust this process. We need to trust that this mediation actually means something. Okay, when they sign on ceasefire, this means something. And if there's going to be pullout from the Strait of, this means something. The sanctions, lifting of sanctions, this actually is going to be executed. Iran has every reason to think all of these are just lies. One assassination, this was assassination, and all these ongoing attacks. And while the world watches, right? The world is just watching. All this is happening, and the world cannot even create a system to slow it down, to create obstacles to slow it down. That this mediation process is also viewed as very suspicious by Iranians. But so Pakistan has either to really execute carefully and be successful, and if it fails, everyone will say that Pakistan was not, Kabul, they weren't capable of doing this. That's why I think they have to be so detail-oriented about the sensitivities of the Iranians and the Americans. The biggest issue, Pakistan doesn't have diplomatic relations with Israel for obvious reasons. So whatever you say and agree with Trump, we don't know if Israel will agree. And the history shows in the last 4 years, at least or more, they say yes, and then doing something else, especially the Gaza agreement. So how will you come in and rein in all these stakeholders for Pakistan? And then make sure it sticks. The other things that Pakistan has to watch is the spoilers you get in conflict studies. Make spoilers. Who's trying to spoil and undermine Pakistan's mediation efforts? And I don't need. I spelled it out there. Obviously, TTP we have, Baluchistan. There's different internally pressures we have, like in neighbors we have. Na? India's. If you watch India's shows, Indian op-eds, they're saying, how did we get sidelined? How do we do this? What happened here? Who's Pakistan? And they say, Acha, Pakistan's a state terrorist country. How can they be even reliable? So they're watching and they're trying to maybe find some spoiling positions. So Pakistan has so many balls in the air, and hopefully, inshallah, they're aware of all these things. But they also have to, at the same time, it's. I was watching another analyst, and he said the whole world is watching Pakistan, and
Mhm.
everyone's depending on Pakistan to deliver peace. This is a quote, not from me, but someone else. But this is DC wale ye keh rahe hain, the world is waiting for Pakistan to deliver peace because the economic recession, your oil crunch here, the Straits of Hormuz issues there, all these things. So in many ways, spoilers will be taking a big risk to undermine Pakistan.
बिल्कुल डॉक्टर साहब, देखते हैं कि ये क्या वो जिसे कहते हैं ना सिचुएशन डेवलप होती है, और स्पॉयलर्स भी हैं, लेकिन मेरा ख्याल ज़ाती ख्याल ये है कि पाकिस्तान की जो जॉब है वो सबको पसंद आएगी, बिकॉज सबको उससे फ़ायदा होगा। सो इसको यहाँ पे किसी को स्पॉयलर नहीं बनना चाहिए, लेकिन मेरा ख्याल है एक चीज़ जो है उसको सारी दुनिया समझना चाहती है। पाकिस्तान डज नॉट हैव रिलेशंस विद इजराइल, और लेकिन फिर भी पीस टॉक्स करवा रहा है इसराइल की जंग बंद करवाने के लिए। एंड पाकिस्तान के ईरान और अमेरिका के साथ जो ताल्लुकात हैं वो इस तरह के हैं कि दोनों एक दूसरे के दुश्मन हैं, लेकिन पाकिस्तान दोनों के साथ लिवरेज रखता है। और जीसीसी मुल्क जो हैं वो खुद क्योंकि जंग का हिस्सा है, वो कोई रोल नहीं प्ले कर सकते। तुर्की की अपनी पोजीशन है। सो मेरा ख्याल है कि ये एक बड़ा यूनिक किस्म का पाकिस्तान की पोजीशन है। लेट्स सी कि क्या फर्दर इससे निकलता है, लेकिन अभी तक तो लोग अप्रिशिएट ही कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हम तो सारी चाहते हैं, सब पीस चाहते हैं। लेकिन डॉक्टर साहब, एक आखिरी सवाल,
जी
ट्रम्प ने कहा था कि 48 आवर्स में जो है वो रह गए हैं ईरान के लिए। आपको क्या लगता है नेक्स्ट अमेरिका क्या कर सकता है?
आई डोंट नो कि ये जो लैंग्वेज जो इस्तेमाल करते हैं इन व्हाइट हाउस, if they उनकी जो threats है होते हैं language threats, if they're meant for pressure या बस ऐसे ऐसे मतलब to diplomatic pressure. ये if you study उनकी जो White House 48 hours है, 2 घंटे हैं, 3 घंटे हैं, these things that seem, if you do it, say it once or twice, there and it doesn't, no execution to pay, doesn't mean anything. So I don't know if the rest of the world, particularly Iran, is taking these things seriously.
लेट्स सी, देखते हैं फिर कैसे अनफोल्ड होता है। थैंक यू वेरी मच
Thank you.
प्रोफेसर।
Thank you for having me, Dr. Saab.
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Khuda Hafiz.